We seldom see a train going nowhere, but that's exactly where this train is going. It has no destination. Kruger-Shalati, the train on the bridge, is a hotel in the Kruger National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The 24 carriages are renovated into suites, giving a room with a view a totally new tapestry. The comings and goings of the Big Five, plus loads of other wildlife. With that glorious view in mind, welcome to Kaleidoscope, and we are positive, daring, different. On the show today, we are exploring nomadic cuisine, technology in fashion, and indulge in artisan luxury. Thank you to our partners on the show, Srilanka Live, CDB, and The Daily Morning. You are awesome. Like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like us. Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
CDB Hybrid Leasing. Enjoy exclusive interest rate and much more for hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and EV vehicles.
Now here's a look at the week that was on CDB Snapshot. With Sri Lanka welcoming over 300,000 tourists so far in 2024, arrivals may surpass 2.5 million for the first time in history this year. The Cabinet of Ministers approves a proposal to establish a Children of Gaza Fund. Australian company United Petroleum secures a contract to supply in Sri Lanka. Taiwan becomes the first country in the world to offer free Wi-Fi to all citizens and tourists. The UN reports that human activity is endangering the lives of hundreds of migratory species, including elephants and sharks.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome to Srilanka Life News Capsule. Embody recently unveiled its latest tech advancements, a value addition to its groundbreaking 3D web platform, which holds a strategic partnership with Pantone Color System. Having patents for virtual try-on technology and collaborating with brands like Nike and Adidas, the recent unveiling adds to the seamlessly integrating digital product creation and development and strategically focuses on boosting collaboration, cost efficiencies, and sales growth. Asia Managing Director of Embody, Chandi Rambukpotha, dropped into the studio to tackle some questions. Embody had a transformative impact on the industry, which included patents for virtual try-on technology and collaborations with brands like Nike and Adidas a few years back. Now, what are the value additions the industry gets with these new tech advancements you've just unveiled?
Embody is still working with Nike in terms of their team sports, right up to e-platform, and that's a collaborative effort between our teams and Nike. And I think the learning is that we've learned a lot in terms of how the apparel industry would shape itself in terms of 3D technology and how it's being created, and the speed, and also the reduction of sampling as it may seem, but also speed to market is what has been learned, and of course the insight in terms of how a brand thinks in terms of the product.
How does your regional presence in Asia help Sri Lanka's apparel industry meet the expectations of that global, now a very discerning customer?
We started off in Sri Lanka 1.5 years ago. We are into Bangladesh, Vietnam, and of course to India and Pakistan and this side of the region. But Sri Lanka is a bit more focused because I think we have, as Sri Lanka as the industry, there is a lot of niche in terms of the product creation, and then of course the 3D technology, which is growing very fast, and of course in terms of sampling, again the physical cost of doing samples with designers, and this is where we want to have a foothold and grow from here.
Embody takes on the title of an industry leader in innovation. What makes you think so?
We are a collaborative platform. We work with all the authoring tools that any of our brands or the vendors are working with. So it can be integrated with any business that is currently working with any of those tools, and it can be shared also with your customer or your internal teams, and and it can be collaborated within that organization or even the outside organization, so there is no restriction in how we collaborate.
And what's your next step from this point?
There is a lot more that we are doing in terms of having new releases, pricing or costing that is coming in. We are also looking at a few other projects in terms of AR. We have something that will come up, and our devs are working 24/7 on this.
Now for a peek at the markets this week. At the Colombo Stock Exchange, the all-share price index remained virtually unchanged, with average daily turnover levels persisting at below 1 billion rupees, reflecting a lack of investor interest. Crude oil prices rose above $83 per barrel on news that OPEC Plus was considering an extension of its voluntary production cuts into the second quarter to keep oil prices stable or higher. Gold prices remain steady above $2,000 per ounce as lower US Treasury yields partially offset a firmer dollar. A Japanese millionaire is flexing his wealth by building a giant zipper boat, so it looks like he's opening the water. Indian fashion designer Gaurav Gupta is once again making waves with his ethereal designs at his Haute Couture show in Paris. The collection is inspired by the Sanskrit word Arohanam, the act of rising. We've been bringing you some food fare on Kaleidoscope, delving deep into the heavenly platters served up at Cinnamon Grand. And today, chutneys is in focus with Kuala Lumpur's Michelin-selected restaurant, Nadodi. The restaurant brings with it a curated degustation menu influenced by Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka. And I'm with Chef Yavin Sirivardhana, one of the cohort of chefs from Nadodi, today on Kaleidoscope. Let's talk to find out about the groundbreaking concept of Nadodi. Yavin, welcome to Sri Lanka. This is your first visit here. What's exciting about this place?
Everything, the weather especially, people of course, and yeah, me being in the culinary industry, of course the food, learning and getting inspired. Yeah, that's something looking forward to as well, more looking to explore.
Now Nadodi is about nomadic cuisine. What exactly is nomadic cuisine?
Nadodi, basically it pays an homage to the early settlers of Malaysia, like how people from Kerala, Tamil Nadu and also Sri Lanka moved into Malaysia, and how the culture and the cuisine got really mixed up in it, right? So that's what Nadodi is about. The nomads that move away from home, finding new home, and then at the same time giving out their culture and also taking in. Yeah, so that's what Nadodi is about actually.
Each of your dishes actually tell a story. What's your favorite story?
We had this dish called Yesterday. If you know the Beatles song Yesterday, yeah. The reason is actually that dish is an interpretation of Palaya Soru or old rice. Yeah. So we have the fermented rice, you know, you have it with some urga, more milaga. You know, it's very, very famous in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, I'm sure in Sri Lanka as well, right? So we made our own interpretation where we foam up the rice, the fermented rice, and we have all these condiments inside. So it gives a different perspective from the dish, and I love telling the story about that dish because it pays an homage to the farmers and how the culture of eating this very, very simple, humble food.
When you look at the cuisine that Nadodi serves, it's very different to our general idea of South Asian cuisine, which is curries and lots of spices and a lot of color, and yours is a very artistic presentation on a plate. How did that come about?
End of the day, right, it's still always you're going back to the basics, right? Once the curry is curry, but how we show it to people is what's going to make a difference. Like we have this dish called curry in a glass, right? So you imagine a curry. Curry is going to be a watery on a plate or on a bowl, right? But we actually aerate them. We make them really, really foamy. So when you have it, it's like having a mousse or a souffle, right? With some crab inside. So we're reinterpreting these dishes. So that's how we look at it.
What is the concept of a degustation menu?
The degustation menu, or some people call it tasting menu, it's basically a long course, very, very long course, multiple dishes, right? And usually very, very punchy flavors to highlight flavors in each of the dishes, right? So a degustation menu, usually what we do is we balance it up from the top to the bottom, where you build up mild dishes, going up intermediate, and then you go to the heavier dishes, and then you finish up with a very nice dessert. So degustation is something where you savor, right? You taste each. That is why it's called a tasting menu, right? And it's a very, very, very good way for us to showcase cuisine, right? Yes, I understand authenticity, how we make bowl in a bowl, like serving. That it's a beauty in its own. But a tasting menu is also something where we can showcase. We can show that oh, curry can not only be a curry, right? We can do it in a different way as well, right? Using proteins that is not normally used. Like when you cook fish in a curry, usually it's always braised or boiled in, right? Or we can also serve it with some pan-fried or sous vide fish, right? And maybe a glaze of a curry, you know? Yeah, I think it's an avenue to give out our creativity.
You are also one of Asia's first restaurants to serve this digestive menu. When you look at it, what benefits do you think people do get in having this kind of a menu?
When it comes to like restaurants like Nadodi, or the type of concept that we do, like I feel it's not just putting out our creativity, but we also have this responsibility, or it's our obligation, where we try to educate people of the culture of where the cuisine is from, getting more into the details of it, how we present the dishes to the customers and how they understand it. So it's not just about putting the food on the plate, right? Going to them and eating it. There's a story or a whole explanation on where the dish is from, why it's cooked that way, right? What spices we use, why we use these spices, right? It becomes a responsibility. So I think that's why it's also important, because if you put the food on a stage like that, people tend to listen more.
What are diners expecting?
Nowadays, I feel diners are very curious, right? And they're willing to know about the food or the cuisine culture, and I think that's a good thing. More interest from our customers is definitely always a better thing for us in the industry.
Good luck to you, and we hope we'll visit Nadodi sometime. An exciting thing happened last week: the launch of the Rachel Raj Botanicals and Artisan Tea Collection. The woman behind the label is Sarita Rajandran, a woman entrepreneur who already has a line of designer wear to her name. The latest additions to her brand, Rachel Raj, is a range of eco-friendly artisan luxury products built on a platform of rural economic empowerment, a body care range that is naturally sourced, free from animal fats, artificial fragrances, petroleum and harsh chemicals, and alcohol and paraffin, and testing absolutely cruelty-free. And a range of herbal wellness tea with natural tea, spices, and medicinal plants infused with some amazing Sri Lankan spices: Ceylon cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, vanilla, and cardamom, showcasing the quintessence of bespoke tea. With ingredients, plants, spices, flowers, and herbs sourced from rural villages to empower women become financially independent, and manufactured in a facility certified with an FSSE 22000 certification and being halal and kosher certified, the Rachel Raj collection is not just amazing to look at, it's even better to use. Take a whiff or a sip, you will know. So indulge in some wellness and herald the start of March. We'll see you next week with our 200th show and our International Women's Day special.